Robinson Show.
Hey guys, it's Isaac Thorne.
Isaac, how you doing,
What's up,
brother?
Isaac?
Not much. How are you guys?
Doing good,
Awesome,
doing
man.
good. Despite the circumstances, how's your summer, Isaac?
Summer's all right. It's a little hot for me, but you know, I'm getting summer stuff done.
Nice. What? How hot is it down there, Tennessee?
It's been in the 90s most of the summer. We had a really cold spring, and then
We did too,
when
I
it
think.
flipped over to summer,
It started late
it
too.
just-
Like I think most
it
of
went
June.
straight up to 90.
It's
June
like
was kind of cool. So yeah.
it's like we don't get
we don't get a spring.
we don't get spring, we don't get autumn anymore. We
Nah.
just get
Right.
summer and we get winter.
Yeah.
That's all we get now.
Yeah. What's the typical summer stuff for you, Isaac?
Typical summer stuff is yard mowing, basically.
Oh. I thought I was getting crunk and starting fires and wearing like clown masks and shit.
It should be. Yeah.
Did you get the stickers I sent you, Isaac?
I did.
Okay,
Yes.
cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
No problem, dude. No problem. Have you gotten any new pops this summer?
Oh, let's see. What have I got? I think I bought a Carry pop.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Oh, like the car?
Like Carrie, like the prom story. The
Oh,
is the
whoa,
po-
I was thinking of Christine.
Is the pop covered in blood?
Stephen- yes.
Oh, that's
That's
amazing.
awesome.
I was
That's
gonna ask,
really
do you
cool.
only collect horror and like Rick and Morty ones, or do you collect any other kinds?
I primarily collect horror and Rick and Morty, but I've got a couple of Star Wars. I got a I saw a Han Solo and a Chewbacca from The Force Awakens, and I couldn't pass those up.
I
so-
liked Boba Fett. I love too the Lego. Like the Lego guys you could build are really awesome. And they just came out with Boba Fett, and he's like, and usually the Lego guys are like $20 something, except for like certain ones that are like 35. And Boba Fett is, I think, even more than that.
What do you mean Lego
Oh,
guys?
They're if you go down the Lego aisle and you see the Star Wars, they have like they're about this tall, I guess. What is that, like 10-inch figures?
Oh wow.
And
Okay.
my sons have a bunch. Ewan has the Darth Vader one, and I think he has a Stormtrooper or a Snow Trooper, one of them. And you build them, and they look amazing.
awesome.
Like you just build the actual.
So it's like
person.
building like a model out of like Legos.
Yeah, and they actually have decals that go on them, and everything. They're
really
really
cool.
nice. Like, and they have the capes and everything. Like, it's awesome. The whatever weapon they have, the lightsaber, whatever, like they're really good looking. Yeah, they're awesome figures.
I'll have to look for those. I had no idea those existed.
Wow, yeah, they've been out for a while, especially I think it's only Star Wars that they do that with, the figures.
Oh, wow.
But they're cool, and every now and then you can find some on like clearance. Like, what was that black robot in? What was not the last movie, but the prequel one before that?
Oh, that was the one with the bug eyes, right?
The one with the guy with the staff. It wasn't like.
Oh,
It was not Force Awakens. It was after that. What was that one?
it's the one from
2 winters ago.
what's that fucking movie? Rogue One.
Rogue One, yes, the black robot from
Yeah,
that.
the Imperial
I saw that on
droid,
clearance for
yeah.
like $12. Like, yeah, sometimes you can find them.
I
like,
love that fucking robot.
Oh, that-
He's all awesome.
that movie, Rogue One, was great. Did you like that, Isaac?
I didn't see Rogue One.
Oh, wow.
In fact, the new stuff, the only movie I've seen so far is The Force Awakens. I need to get caught up.
That was great. I
on all
wasn't
that.
crazy about the second one.
Rogue One was definitely better than the Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi, yeah, no, that one I wasn't crazy about.
I liked it, but I didn't like.
Yeah, didn't love it.
I didn't.
That's
love
how I felt.
Yeah.
Did anyone see Solo? Because I kind of just
No,
like I didn't even
and
think
I
of
heard
that.
that's great.
I need to see it.
Yeah, no, I
I didn't have time to see it.
I saw a trailer and I was like, waste of time.
but yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing it, but I have a really hard time picturing anybody but Harrison Ford in that role.
I think that's
They
what
said
it
that
was.
dude pulled it off, though. They said that guy
Really?
pulled off.
And the guy they got for Lando was apparently really good too.
yeah.
Oh, cool.
I want to see a Lando story. I want to see him drinking Colt 45s and
Dude,
banging bitches.
I want to see a Boba Fett movie directed by Tarantino.
I want to
That's what
see
I wanna
Jabba the Hutt story about just obesity, where you just see him over the years just getting fatter and grosser.
It's a documentary about Jabba the Hutt. That's amazing.
A lot of sad music playing. A lot of like childhood abuse.
That'd be awesome. See his gangster life progress.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You see the rise and the fall.
They give him to those lizard guys and they just fucking molest them as a little hut larva.
You got dark with that, Slambo. I like that.
Where did that come from?
Ooh.
Slambo. I think Slambo was raped by some lizard guys.
And writing a Jabba the Hutt story.
I got abducted by lizard people. And they...
Oh, let's not get political on it. What, Isaac, we've talked movies, we've talked books, and all sorts of other horror stuff, but what kind of music do you like?
Horror music.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no,
I was just making a joke. I said you like horror music.
like scores to like horror movies.
Like just no, it's like just he loves those cheap like
death
Halloween
metal? Oh,
Halloween
sound effects.
Halloween
I have a
sound
DVD.
effects.
I have a CD.
Synth music. There you go. Synth music. I listen to I listen to some classic rock. I listen to a lot of roots stuff these days. So stuff that kind of straddles the line between country and rock and folk, you know.
Cool. That's awesome. I was going to ask you, too. I've always wanted to ask you. I've never asked, where do you get the glasses that you have in your profile picture? They kind of remind me like steampunk like style.
Oh, yeah.
They're rad.
They are. They're steampunk inspired anyway. That's actually, in my profile pic, is an old pair that I broke a while back. So, but the new pair I got are actually, they look really similar and they're sturdier. And I just bought them off Amazon.
Cool.
Yeah, I just did a search for steampunk, but now that I'm getting older, I'm starting to need like reading glasses, so I'm gonna have to find.
I was going to ask if they serve two purposes, or if they were just like sunglasses, or what.
I'm gonna have to find some that serve both purposes. Those are just sunglasses. Though.
I got better than 2020. I don't know how I lucked out. That's
oh wow.
And everyone in my family's got glasses or contacts. Like I'm the only one.
Well, that was me for a long time. Everybody in my family wore glasses from adolescence on, and I managed to avoid it until my 40s.
Oh,
That was like my grandfather. He only needed to wear glasses when he read. That's it.
what about a spectacle? Like, what is that? Just when one eye's bad? Because I feel like that's a cool look.
Oh, you mean like a
Yeah, I thought
monocle?
Monocle, yeah.
I thought that was just like a fashion statement.
Is that just like for ritzy guys? Like,
Well, a rich German guy.
yeah, or a German doctor.
I don't know. I'll have to look for some steampunk monocles. I can get two of them. One for each eye.
I need my. Where did you put my monocle, Brian? That bastard stole my monocle!
Oh. Thank you, though, Isaac. Thank you for donating to the GoFundMe for my dad, man. It's been a rough summer. Rough summer.
You bet. I'm happy to help. I still have my motorcycle license. But I haven't ridden in a long time. But I know how things can go.
It's like his one passion, and over the years, he's gotten in a couple accidents. Like the one before this, if his leg was broken anymore, they would have had to amputate it. And there was another one too, but I think he's finally ready to sell it. Like he always said he would never, but I think this time he's ready. It's like, dude, he's in his 60s. It's like, you want to go through this again? Like, ever? Like, but he did talk to him one of the last times I talked to him and visited him. He's like, he's talking about selling it, so.
Yeah.
I guess it would be the best. Like, because originally he was like, I'll only ride in the day. And, but still, you never know. So,
I mean, his situation was with a deer, but I was talking to somebody earlier. I kind of was sharing the story with them, and I had forgot how he was hit. But a guy who used to ride said he doesn't ride anymore because of texters. Because people are
other
texting
drivers
all the time. Yeah, other drivers hit guys on motorcycles apparently all the time.
Even before that, like just in the early 90s, it was just like an 80-something-year-old like guy just hit him. This was when we lived up north, and it was when I was in high school, and he went flying off the bike, hit into like two cars, like, yeah. So this has been like the third major accident that he's had. So My grandfather too, though. It's like that whole side of the family. My dad's side. My Aunt Patty rides. My Uncle Kenny rode.
I'm actually about to get mine soon.
You've been talking about it. You gonna Slambo?
Yeah, I'm getting a Yamaha Virago pretty soon. It's nice. I'm buying it off Spaz's boss.
Yeah. What kind of bike did you have, Isaac? Or do you still have it?
I do not have it anymore. I had God, how long ago has it been? I don't even know how many decades it's been since I've been on a bike, but I had a Honda Rebel.
Okay, they're cool too. Yeah, one of my buddies, Ralph, had one.
I
of
like
those.
the Honda Shadow. Those are fucking.
Yeah,
are they the ones that look like
awesome.
a Harley?
Yeah,
those are cool too. They are cool. But yeah, man, it's so dangerous. Like you're saying, other drivers.
Yeah, even more now because of like the texting and stuff. That it's even more dangerous.
You know, people didn't watch out for they don't watch out for motorcycles. They don't watch out for bicycles, and they don't watch out for pedestrians.
I still see it. Like you got a motorcycle on the road and a car like up its ass.
Yeah,
like it's like, dude, you got to back the fuck off. Like,
absolutely.
I remember one time I was following him. Like, he had to drop his bike off at Harley, and I was driving in the car behind him, and like some asshole got up on him, and I was ready to run him off the road, like just because. Like this dude just like I said, and he cut. Like I was following him. I had you always give a car or two length, and some asshole always got to fucking get in between you and the car whoever in front of you.
This is making me scared to get one, man.
So I just fucking gassed it, got around him, and I would have ran him off the road if he didn't back off. Like, I was pissed. But,
you gotta. I don't want to scare you off, one Slambo, but you do have to be. Right. You have to be even more watchful on a bike than you do when you're driving a car.
No doubt.
Even just in ice. I know my dad's hit ice here and there and laid the bike down, and it's hard, man. It's rough. It's rough.
I know a guy.
But sorry to cut you off real quick, but my buddy Rick and my dad always said too, and I told my buddy Rick, and he's like, yeah, that's 100% right. Like my dad said, anytime he's ever gotten in an accident, he's got a weird feeling before he went out riding. And you get this third sense, whatever the fuck it is, where you actually feel like something fucked up is gonna go down. What were you saying, Slambo?
I know someone who. She ran a red light, right? Mm-hmm. And there was a guy coming in on a Harley, and the guy had to dump he saw her.
He just laid the bike down.
He just dumped the bike, but he ended up
jumped off the bike.
Yeah, he jumped off the bike roll, but he ended up shattering his femur.
Wow.
The bike went right into her front. Completely fucking totaled the car and the bike.
Wow. That's the thing though about my dad's bike. It's barely got a couple scratches. Like he got so messed up, but there was deer shit all over it because his buddies in the bike club picked it up. It said it was covered in deer shit, but I saw a picture. It's only got a couple cosmetic scratches. The bike's not even that bad.
Was that a bike he's owned for a while, or
he's had it for a minute? Yeah.
No, I think if you get that weird feeling, you just gotta.
That's
usually what he did, but I don't know. I don't know. Isaac, I was gonna ask, do you have something you could read?
I do actually, and I thought I would read a couple of sections from Bedside Manner, which is in Roadkills.
Yes.
Okay. It is the one straight up ghost story out of that book.
That's the one about the woman. It's the dad's a doctor and stuff, right?
Yes.
Oh, I love that. I love that story. Yes.
And I should mention too that I've actually I hired a couple of professional voice actors to do a audiobook version of Roadkills that should be out in just a week or two.
Wow, awesome. I was going to say too, don't you have a movie being made for Because Reasons?
It's out already, actually. It's on YouTube. If you go to My Little Rascal Productions on YouTube, you can see the entire 15-minute short there.
Cool.
All right. Maybe we'll play the first 5 minutes on our break.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Sounds good. But whenever you're ready, Isaac, that's awesome. That's great stuff. What I was going to ask too, are you in the process of writing another book?
I am. I actually spent the summer doing editing work on other people's books, and I posted something about it on Twitter. I don't mind the work, and it's a nice extra income, but I was missing writing.
Yes, I saw that. I meant to ask. about that.
Yeah, yeah. So I am getting back to it. It's hard to get back in that groove when you've been in editing mode so long, because what I typically like to do is get the first draft out and then go back and do the editing. The first draft is gonna suck. It's gonna be full of problems, but unless you get it out there, you can't massage it and rewrite it. But once you're in editing mode and then you try to start writing, you want to self-edit along the way, and that's a little harder for me. So I have to get back into draft mode.
All right, dude. But yeah, whenever you're ready, like I said, we're at the 15-minute mark. I didn't want to go too far with that.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'm ready.
You there, Isaac?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think it broke up for a second, but Slim will mute the mic, and we will enjoy. It's from Bedside Manner.
Bedside Manner.
Awesome.
All right.
The sun came up, as it always eventually does. In the warm light of a crisp autumn morning ride to school, Jake was able to chalk the night's incident up to his own back-to-school nerves and imagination. But by the ride home that afternoon, he had all but forgotten the strange and frightening visitor from the night before, until it was once again time for bed. His drained energy from a full day of school and homework, not to mention his mommy's hearty cooking followed by a warm bath, had Jake nearly asleep less than 1 minute after his head hit the pillow. He drifted away to the sound of his parents watching the 10 o'clock news on the living room set. Mickey Mouse reported that it was 10:25. If he stayed awake much longer, he would hear the booming voice of Ed McMahon introducing Johnny Carson on The Tonight Show. Sometimes he listened to Johnny Carson's jokes before he drifted off, but tonight he didn't think he was going to make it that far. The image of the thing from the night before briefly appeared at the fore of his mind, but he managed to push it away with little effort. "There's no such thing as ghosts," he murmured as he drifted down to sleep. "Mommy and Daddy said so." But that was little comfort when his eyes later fluttered open in the darkness to find the oral lady standing before him again. As on the night before, he had no idea what time it might be. There was no longer sound from the living room television set. There were no footsteps in the hallway, and there was no chatter from Mommy and Daddy's bedroom behind the wall. There was only the silent floating visage before him. Something was different this time. Tonight, a wide rictus spread across the lower half of its face. Its formerly mostly empty eye sockets were entirely alive now with squirming, glistening gray rolls of those worms he had thought he'd seen the night before. The thing maintained its glare at the wall behind him rather than at him, as far as he could tell. Jake caught himself holding his breath again and let it out. On his next inhale, he smelled something horrible, something that he had not noticed the previous night. It was like a mixture of the egger farts he sometimes produced when he had a milkshake tummy ache and the damp, freshly turned earth that his father tilled for their miniature homestead garden every spring. Only it was not spring now, and he had not slurped down one of his favorite McDonald's chocolate milkshakes since July. Daddy once told him to say something if he ever smelled an egger that didn't come out of his own body. If you smell that kind of egger and it didn't come out of your bum, it means that there's a gas leak in the house somewhere. Jake couldn't be certain, but he suspected that it wasn't a gas leak this time. He thought the egger he smelled was probably coming from the oral lady who was standing beside him and grinning her wicked grin. Almost as if she had heard his thoughts, the glowing phantom in front of him raised her arm, her skeletal fingers curling themselves into a pointed fist. It looked like she might be about to point to something over his head or behind him on the wall. But before she had finished the gesture, she started to fade again. First her head went, then her shoulders. Then she was a misty afterimage against his retinas. Then she was nothing at all. Mickey Mouse informed him that it was 3:15 in the morning. The following evening, Jake fought his bedtime. His room didn't feel like his room anymore. It was a stranger's place, an uncomfortable place he no longer wanted to be. He was careful to avoid it, doing homework at the kitchen table instead. Mommy and Daddy seemed not to notice the change in his behavior, except when Daddy commented on the number of stray Hot Wheels that had mysteriously made their way into the living area from their usual place by the plastic racetrack on the floor of his room. I just wanted to spend some time with you guys, Jake had replied. I think something's wrong with my room. I thought I smelled an egger in there last night. His daddy grinned at that. Been hitting the milkshakes, have you? Jake shook his head. No, sir, it wasn't me. I don't know where it came from. Daddy pursed his lips in that thoughtful way Jake had come to know as his serious face. Do you smell it now? No, I smelled it for a minute during the night and then it was gone, and Mommy, who had been listening from her place on the sofa, piped up then. She was also wearing her serious face. And what, Pumpkin? And there was something else there, too. It looked like a lady, a weird glowing lady with no feet and worms for eyeballs. Jake swallowed. His face felt hot. Saying it out loud like that made him feel a little silly, but he pressed on anyway. I don't want to sleep in there anymore. His daddy rolled his eyes and laughed. Johnny, stop it, Mommy scolded. You're upsetting him. Then she turned to Jake. Are you sure you weren't asleep, sweetie? Are you sure you weren't just having a bad dream? It wasn't a dream, Jake replied. Mommy gently stroked the mop of brown hair back from his forehead. Do you want to sleep with us tonight? Oh, come on. Daddy raised his voice, not quite to a shout. I have to be at the hospital at 4 tomorrow morning. That means I need to be up by 3 at the latest. How am I going to be able to concentrate tomorrow if little jumpin' Jake here is punting dream footballs against my shins all night? Johnny, he's scared, she said, wrapping her arms around Jake and pulling him close to her. Yes, Sheila, Daddy said. I know he's scared, Sheila, but I can't risk a botched surgery because I didn't get enough sleep. You remember what I went through, right? The Johnson lady? Mommy glared at him. Jake didn't see her glare at him, but he could see Daddy's expression through Mommy's fingers, which she had instinctively used to cover his eyes instead of his ears. That was the face Daddy always got when Mommy made him feel ashamed. I remember all too well, she hissed. But we don't talk about that. Not in front of our son. I'll sleep in Jake's room with him so you can get your rest. Jake pried himself loose from his mother's arms. No, we can't sleep in there. What if the lady gets us? Shh, sweetie, Mommy cooed. I promise you, no one's going to hurt you or your mommy. Mommies have a special sixth sense when it comes to their little ones. We know when there's danger. If the bad lady shows up again tonight, we'll shoo her away together. Then you won't be scared anymore. She ran her fingers through his hair again and kissed him on the forehead. Okay? Jake nodded. Okay. Great, Daddy shouted, but not without some humor. I'll just amble off to our bed on my own and be cold all night. You keep that up and you'll be cold every night, Mommy replied. Daddy laughed at that, then directed his attention to Jake. Son, your mom's right, he said. You know I don't like to admit that, but there you go. No one's going to bother you or her or anyone else in this house. You're as safe as you can be, and you'll see that after tonight. And now that all that's over, I'm going to bed. I'm wiped out, and tomorrow's going to be a hell of a long day. Johnny! Oh, heck, I meant that it's going to be a heck of a long day. He grinned sheepishly, although Jake figured that was probably just for show. Good night, folks. Jake grinned too, in spite of himself. The end.
Thank you, Isaac. That's,
absolutely.
Like I said, that's an amazing story.
That brought up some like childhood.
That brought up Slambo's nightmares.
Was it
No, I used
the
to have
worms or like what?
I don't know. I used to have like night terrors as a little kid.
I remember one night I had it where like I don't know. I think it ended up being a shadow. Like I don't know if I like fell asleep and woke up or if I could never fall asleep, but I saw this like crazy looking demon thing on the wall, and I stayed up till like the sun came up, and I realized it was a shadow from like a trophy or something on my shelf.
Oh
like,
my god!
It was crazy.
Well, it was a crazy looking demon thing when you first saw it. Then it was a trophy.
Right.
But like I remember like I saw it, I didn't see it again, but I still like made sure like I didn't go back to bed.
I used to put my parents through hell because I used to have like just bad night terrors.
Oh.
And I wouldn't even be able to tell them what it was. Like
yeah, I think my oldest son, when he was real little, had the night terrors.
Yeah, they're like. I think it's like connected to sleepwalking or something. It's like,
I used to sleepwalk when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I think once my parents found me on the front yard. And one time I was in like the shower getting ready to turn the water on. I was still like in my pajamas, but
yeah, it's just weird how that shit works.
Yeah.
Growing up, you know what I mean?
Isaac, we have to wrap this up, dude. But thank you so much. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Always.
And my thoughts are with you and your dad. I'm pulling for him.
Thank you, brother. Where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Isaac R. Thorne, same place on Facebook, and on the web at isaacthorne.com.
And that's Thorne with an E, right?
Thorne with an E.
Awesome, dude. Thank you. Thank you so much, Isaac.